When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Absolutely, unequivocally, yes, is the answer. Now, here is the host of The Long Bearded Guy, the Chief Catalyst, Strategist Guide at Jewel International, Gordon D Melville.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's great to see you. Welcome to Red Fridays. We're talking here with the Long Bearded Guy, Gordon D Melville on Inspired Choices Network. We're talking today about emotional intelligence, execute. So this is part 6 of the series. I'm not sure how many parts are going to be yet, but this is part 6. So execution. Welcome. I deeply appreciate first day with the new tongue. People being here today. I know there's people listening. I know there's people on the road listening. Thank you so much. I appreciate that engagement. I appreciate that following, and I appreciate people reaching out. So thank you for being here. Your time is the most precious thing you have. The most precious commodity any of us has is time. And you're spending some of it with me today. So I really thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Tracking one's own feelings towards others to distinguish between emotions and use that emotional information and using that emotional information to engage others in appropriate behavior. Executing, how do we actually use our emotional intelligence? We have to be able to track it. We have to be able to understand what our own feeling is in the moment to be able to distinguish between our emotion and using that emotion or not using that emotion to engage other people in appropriate behavior. So not doing and saying whether it's inappropriate, it's hurtful, it's because we're not reading the room properly. So that's what we're talking about today in terms of execution. We want to be able to execute and actually do what we've been talking about. And we've been talking about a lot of different things with emotional intelligence. It's a huge, huge topic. There's lots of different views on a lot of different aspects of it. And again, we're taking a 30,000 foot view of it because it's such a huge, huge topic. We can only scratch the surface in here. If you want to go deeper, we give you resources. There's books you can read. There's courses you can take. There's tests you can do. There's lots of different things we can do as far as resource to expand your awareness and your knowledge about what's going on there. I'm very excited to have you with me today. And if you can follow us, it's a free download, the app, Inspired Choices Network, anywhere you watch, Google TV, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Spotify, Roku, LG and Samsung Smart TV, anywhere you watch or listen to your stuff will be. And so use the we're very excited to be on Apple TV and Google TV. And I believe Inspired Choices Network.tv is the new place you can watch us all. All the hosts on Inspired Choices Network are there. Reach out, find those people, listen to there's some incredible people on that network. So on our network. So find those people, like it, love it, share, subscribe, share it with people. We're trying to expand the reach. We're trying to expand the engagement, which is different than reach. We want people to hear it and respond. If you know me, you know my mission is 10 million men, to have a meaningful connection with 10 million men globally in the next 24 months with a message of hope that says there are positive ways to deal with, the emotions we all feel every day. But as guys, we were taught, don't let anybody see that. Don't show that. Don't cry. Don't look weak. And so we hold that dis-ease, the disease, we hold it in our bodies and it makes us sick. Or we put it in a box, our emotions in a box. We don't want to deal with them because we're taught, don't deal with that. Don't put that out there. So we put it in a box, we put it on a shelf. The challenge is we still have residual pain from that. So now we start to drink and gamble and drugs and porn, whatever it is. But now I have a vice on top of the problem because it didn't take the problem away. And now we hurt people. Those vices hurt ourselves. It hurts other people around us. It complicates the issue. So it's not outside the box thinking. I don't want to do outside the box thinking. It's eradicate the box, burn the box. There's no box. What I teach are ways, tools, and strategies to be able to deal with emotions we all feel every day, but don't know what to do with, so that we don't end up on the other end of the spectrum, which is deep depression and suicide and all these heavy duty psychological things that could have been prevented. A lot of times can be prevented if we deal with the light emotional stuff in a positive way. If we don't hold it inside, it doesn't make us sick, but we have to be able to do that. We have to have tools to do that. So if you can share, bring friends to this. If you don't have a journal in front of you or something to write on the wall, write on something, toilet paper, I don't care what you write on, you need to be able to write this information down. We're going to give you a whole bunch of stuff today on executing. How do I execute? What are the important pieces? What do I need to think about? How do I execute? We're going to talk about that. The first thing I want to touch on today is something called SWOT. For those of you that are, and I'm not talking, I'm not, that's not what I mean when I say SWOT. SWOT, not SWAT. SWOT. What is that? And we do it for businesses, we do it for personal, we do it for lots of different things, but SWOT is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So what do I mean by that? Well, if I'm going to execute on my emotional intelligence, I need to know what my strengths are. I need to know where I shine. I need to know, hey, you know what? I can do this real well. The counterpart to that is I also need to know what my weaknesses are. I need to know where I need to know, you know what, in certain situations, I struggle, I get triggered. And I know people use that word all over the place anymore, but a lot of times they're not, we get triggered. We all do. Certain situations, something somebody says to us. Sometimes it's the person that says it. Does that make sense? Sometimes it's I have some kind of a thing deep inside me that I have sort of a chip on my shoulder for a certain person. Then I'm filtering, I'm using a sort of specific lens. I'm filtering everything they say through the fact that I don't like them for some reason. So that's a weakness. So I have to be aware of that. I have to be aware of my strengths, my weaknesses. Where do I fall down? Where do I shine? I need to know that. But you've heard me say, I'm not here to polish your trophies. I'm here to rattle your chain. I'm here to shake your cage and go, hey, wake up, let's go. So we need to know what those weaknesses are. Where do I lack? That way, when it happens, when the situation happens, I can respond, not react, respond in an appropriate way because I'm holding on to that. I have emotional mastery, emotional intelligence mastery. I have to have that to be able to make my life work and for my relationships to work, quite frankly. If I want them to be deeper, I have to do that. Strengths, weaknesses, I have to know where the opportunities lie. Where are the places I can grow? Where are the places that, you know what, there's low-hanging fruit right here. I can do this and this and this, and it'll skyrocket me in that space. I can get some really good traction. Where are the opportunities? Where are the opportunities to use my emotional intelligence, to execute on what you know? Because the opportunities, I believe, are way more far-flung than we originally thought or believed them to be. I think our emotional intelligence is affecting us in lots of different ways that we didn't anticipate because it's not taught and it's not something that's just sort of out there all over the place. It's becoming more out there, but it's not fully out there. And so it's not something we talk about. We lift people up that are smart. IQ is something that they're so brilliant. They're amazing. What was the last time you heard somebody say, "Oh, this person has amazing emotional mastery. This person has an amazing emotional quotient. Their emotional intelligence is off the chart." When was the last time you heard that? We don't hear that very much because I think a lot of times we don't, and we've talked about that on other shows. We see that to have emotional intelligence, we have to be courageous. We have to be vulnerable and transparent, but we have to be willing to do that. There isn't emotional intelligence without vulnerability, transparency, and that takes courage. So there's no emotional intelligence without courage. We have to be courageous to be able to do that. But my point is, in terms of opportunities, if I'm not courageous enough to go, hey, where else can I use my emotional intelligence? Where else is it affecting me that I don't even realize it's having an impact on me, positive or negative? Where else is it going to be? So I need to find out where are those opportunities. And then what are the threats? What are the things that are going to stop me from using my emotional intelligence? What are the things that are going to prevent me or slow me down from not only using it, but from increasing it, from expanding my emotional intelligence? I have to know what the threats are. Why? So I can protect myself. And it's not that some of that sometimes is boundaries. Sometimes it's boundaries with certain people. Sometimes it's boundaries with certain situations. Sometimes that's boundaries. I have to have those boundaries. I need to know where the threats are. So SWOT, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. To have really good emotional intelligence, I have to be able to do a SWOT on myself. I would suggest and would put out there for you that you do a SWOT with somebody else that knows you really well. Get them to tell you what your strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats are. Can you do that for somebody else? Can you help somebody else you know really well work through what their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are? Do we do it with our kids? Great place to do it. Once you understand it yourself and can move it yourself and can regulate on your own with it, absolutely. Do it with a partner, do it with a spouse. Run through and ask them and do it. When you do it for them, they do it for you. Why? Because it's going to exponentially increase your awareness of how you're going to be able to execute your emotional intelligence, to be able to put it out there and know, hey, I have a really well-rounded idea of where I'm at. Where can I use it? Where can I use my emotional intelligence? We've talked about, building it up and how do we increase it and all these different things. But actually, at some point, knowing and reading memes and all this is great. I need to do that. But if I want to actually move forward, I have to actually put boots on the ground and do. I've got to have the audacity of doing. I have to try. And I don't like that word because of giving myself an out. I have to put myself, try. It gives me an out. Well, I tried. I'm not sure I like that. But being able to put myself out and go, no, I need to know what the opportunities are. I need to know what the threats are. I need to know what my strengths are. And then I need to know where to use that. Where am I executing? How do I execute not just my emotional intelligence? How do I execute on increasing it? I want to. I know why. We talked last week about why and how. I've got those pieces. But now how do I actually execute that? What do I actually have to practically do to make that happen in my life? Both to increase it and then to use it. I want to be able to do both. I have to execute both. Being able to teach other people, and you're teaching them by doing it. You're teaching them by example. That makes sense? I hope that makes sense. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Doing a SWOT on yourself and on the people around you, getting people to do it with you. Very, very important. All right. I got to take a quick break, pay some bills. But my first one is Jose Escobar. And he is the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Great guy. Love Jose. Check out the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf to learn more about the morning and evening routine mastery program that is changing people's lives. The program will help you install systems on the bookends of your day to maximize your morning and evening routine. Set up a free strategy session with Jose Escobar today, and you can reach him at theentrepreneursbookshelf.com. That's theentrepreneursbookshelf.com, and it's Jose Escobar. That's an incredible program. It's literally life-changing. That's not hyperbole. It is absolutely changing people's lives. So you want to be able to do something as a habit at the end of your day to set up your next day, and something first thing in the morning that sets up your day, to put your mind, because that's where it's all coming from. It's all coming from here. And if we don't do that, we're not setting ourselves up. You could be way more effective, way more efficient. You'll get there faster if you put bookends and habits in the front, beginning and end of your day. So do that. As we go to a quick break here, make sure you don't forget to pause and breathe. And if you don't have a journal or something to write on, you're going to want to have it. Go grab something, and we'll see you on the other side. We'll be right back. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville, on Inspired Choices Network.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Long-Bearded Guy with Gordon D Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville on Inspired Choices Network. And today we're talking about emotional intelligence execute, actually doing. So in the last segment, we talked about SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Incredible exercise to do for yourself, but with other people, very effective to know very quickly where you stand. So how and why do I want to increase my emotional intelligence? What are things that I need to be aware of? And you'll want to write these down. So increasing my EI, increasing my emotional intelligence is going to help me be optimistic. It's going to help me put a positive spin on my life. We're wired a lot of times for negative. We see negative, even the weatherman talks negative, right? Oh, there's a 15% chance of rain. Well, that means there's an 85% chance of sun or no rain. Why don't they talk about that? Even the weatherman talks in a negative side. So we want to be optimistic. Increasing our emotional intelligence will help us be more optimistic. And we talked about where does this come up in our lives? Where am I using? And I had said, it may show up in some places we weren't anticipating, where I can use it, where we can use our emotional intelligence. So having emotional intelligence is going to affect our ability to be optimistic. It's going to help us be look for abundance as opposed to lack. Optimistic. Another thing it's going to help us do is be responsible. Responsible for me. Self-responsible. Understanding, hey, I'm taking ownership of my own stuff. I'm taking ownership of, I'm being responsible with my stuff, not just with me, with my abilities. I'm being responsible with my interactions with people. I'm being responsible in my life. I'm doing the right thing, even when nobody's paying attention and nobody will ever know. I'm still being responsible. That's not only maturity, but that's a level of emotional intelligence that's fairly high. Having productivity, higher productivity. You want to be able to do more. Increase your emotional intelligence. It will increase your productivity. You'll be able to get more done. Why? Because you'll be able to not be fighting with all these different bits and pieces, that struggling with this and struggling with that and struggling with the other. It increases our level of emotional intelligence. It increases our ability to be productive. Being positive also increases that productivity. When we're in a negative space, and tell me I'm wrong. I think we all experience that, where when we get negative and we're feeling down, do you feel more like working or more like putting it out and doing the stuff you need to do? And that can be, I'm not just talking about work stuff. You come home, you sit down, and we laugh about it and we go, oh, I shouldn't have sat down. Why? Oh man, now I don't want to get up. Right. And we have to do regular things. We got the stuff about life. feed the kids, clean the house, do any homework we had as a student, whatever it is we need to do, but we don't want to, right? So when we're in a negative, if I'm down or I've got low vibration, I don't want to move. When I'm in an optimistic space and I have high IQ, then my brain goes, no, I'm going to have higher productivity because I'm a positive human being. I'm pushing, right? And it's not that I don't have times when I don't want to. I still have times I don't want to, but I've made the choice to be in that space. So I've already made the choice. Now it's just a matter of executing, actually doing, right? I've been married more than 30 years. I was gonna say, I guess, 31 years in June, at the end of June. And that's an execution of understanding each other at a level that lots of people don't get to. It's having IQ or EQ, pardon me, emotional intelligence, where we actually execute what we're talking about. It's where rubber meets the road. And is it easy? No. Ask her. She'll tell you. He's not easy to live with sometimes. And I know it. I understand. I've done SWAT with myself. I get it. Sometimes it's a difficult thing, but higher productivity. And then the other part of that is not harboring hatred. So sometimes we have this, and hate's a very strong word, but sometimes we have a chip on our shoulder in terms of certain people. Sometimes we go, you know what, I really don't like that person for whatever reason. And it may be fully justified, but that's our opinion of them. That's our opinion of them, but it stops us from executing our emotional intelligence at the level we should be, because we get triggered because of who the person is, or we get triggered because of what the situation is, or we get triggered because of something they said. Increasing our emotional intelligence will allow us not to harbor and to let that go, and to understand, you know what, I'm holding on to that because I know that's not helpful. Especially with somebody that you have to talk to regularly, you have to talk all the time to, all of a sudden it becomes something that weighs on you. And you don't want that. So it allows us, increasing our emotional intelligence allows us the ability to pause, have some emotional mastery, and gives us an ability not to hold on to past hurts, not to hold on to things that we can't change anyway, right? History's gone. Me saying history's gone is already in the past. Now it's recent past, but it's still past. But we hold on to that stuff. We hold on to those things, and we look at those people, and we judge situations, and we look at people and situations and things through a certain lens. That's a choice we make, by the way. And again, maybe not an easy choice sometimes, but it is absolutely a choice. We are making a choice to look at that person or that situation that way, which means sometimes we're choosing to be triggered because we know that's how we're going to respond. And that's something we're working on, right? That emotional intelligence is allowing us, heightened levels of it is allowing us to work through that. So increasing our emotional intelligence allows us to be optimistic. It helps us be responsible. It gives us higher productivity, and it helps us regulate and not harbor bad feelings towards other people. Self-encouragement is a huge topic that, again, we could do a whole multiple shows about self-encouragement. To overcome challenges and motivate from within. We're the only people that can motivate. You've heard me say that before. I can inspire somebody, but I can't motivate them. They have to take that inspiration and motivate themselves. But self-encouragement to overcome the challenge. How often do we say to ourselves, oh, I can't. Oh, I can't. I don't have that. I can't. I'm not able to. That's not in my wheelhouse of things. How often do we say stuff like that to ourselves? How often do we beat ourselves up because of something that we shouldn't even be carrying, let alone beat ourselves up over? You can't do anything about the past. So your favorite sports team lost last night. Is there anything they can do today to change that outcome? No. Well, so what's the point of being freaked out and weirded out and angry and frustrated and carrying it with you? What's the point of that? There's no point to that. But we carry it with us, and we look at our life through that lens all of a sudden. And now we're bummed, and we're, oh man, it's okay to be bummed out when your team doesn't win. I get it. But you don't carry it. You don't live with that there. You don't sit with it right there. So being able to self-encourage, you're not looking for somebody else to come along and validate you. You're not looking for somebody else to come along and go, hey, you're doing a great job. It's great to hear. Don't get me wrong. It's always wonderful to hear. But self-encouragement helps us overcome our challenges. If we can say to ourselves, hey, I can do this. You'll hear me say it. I write it on stuff. Yes, I can. Capital letters. Yes, I can. Exclamation mark. Why? Because I'm I'm self-encouraging. This may be hard. The challenge is brutal. The challenge is difficult, no matter what it is. Why? Because that's allowing the increased emotional intelligence is allowing and making ability available to me to be able to be optimistic, even when there doesn't seem to be a reason to be optimistic. And it's not being sort of, a fanboy and going, oh yeah, it doesn't matter that there's negative things. I'm not going to acknowledge that. I'm just going to look at it from a completely, it doesn't matter that it's bad and terrible. I'm just going to look at it optimistically. I'm going to look at it from a positive thing. I'm not going to acknowledge that there's negative there. Well, that's not right. That's bad. But being able to say, hey, I'm going to encourage myself. Yes, I can. I'm going to encourage we say the nastiest things to ourselves. Things we would never say to our worst enemy, we say to ourselves all the time. Our shadow says stuff to ourselves why do I say that to myself? And your brain, by the way, does not understand the difference between real and fantasy. It doesn't understand the difference between actual and made up or joke. So when you say, oh, I suck, that's not good, because your brain doesn't understand. It doesn't know, hey, I don't mean that I suck. I don't mean that I'm being jokey. I'm just sort of self-depreciating. That's not good, because your brain doesn't understand. That's the deal. Your brain doesn't know you're kidding. And then what happens? Well, it takes it on. Your subconscious takes it on. And then you start to live out of it, and they start to go, wow, you know what? I can't do that. All of a sudden, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy when it doesn't work. Well, I'll never be able to do that. And then you go and try and you can't do it. You go, see, I told you, can't do it. Self-encouragement. Yes, I can. Tell yourself, yes, I can. Write it down on your journal. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Why? Because I was given the power to do it. We're given the power to do that. And we abdicate it a lot of the time. We go, no, I can't do it. Not possible. I can't do it. Crap. Yes, you can. Encourage yourself. It'll help you overcome the challenges. Stop talking down to yourself. Please. It's important. It's important. It's such a critical thing. If we keep talking down to ourselves, we learn that. Our body learns that. Our mind learns that. And then that's what we pump out. That's what we draw to ourselves. That's what we're putting out. That's what we're getting back. Don't do that to yourself. I have to pay some more bills. I hope you're feeling my heart, because it's coming from a place of love. It's coming from a place of care. It's coming from a place of, hey, I want you to be better. If you want to be, I want to be able to help you get there. I want you to hear from my heart, hey, I love you. I care. You're important. You matter. The world needs you. And I don't say that just, I'm saying, you know what? Those things are coming from my heart. The world needs you. It desperately does. It needs you to have a level of emotional intelligence that will not only help you and increase you, but will help support the people around you. I have to pay some more bills. Jose Escobar, founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Check out the Connected Leaders Academy membership to take your business to the next level. This is the perfect tribe to learn, grow, and connect like never before. The Connected Leaders Academy tribe brings together some of the highest level entrepreneurs from all over the world. Set up a virtual coffee with Jose Escobar today, and you can reach him at theentrepreneur'sbookshelf.com. That's theentrepreneur'sbookshelf.com. Connected Leaders Academy is amazing. It's incredible. I'm a member there, part of the executive there. It's an incredible group of people. If you've ever gone into a group, I've always believed if I walk into a group or I walk into a room and I'm the most successful, accomplished person in the room, I'm probably in the wrong room to grow. And in some ways, right? If I'm there as a teacher, I can still grow, I can still learn, but on the whole, I need to be in a room that's different. And when I first came into this group, into the Connected Leaders Academy, I went back to Jose and I'm like, I'm not sure I'm qualified to be here based on the level of success and accomplishment of the people around. And they had accomplished amazing things. But I think there's a correlation. If you take all of the good things they'd ever done out, there would still be a room full of people that are incredible human beings. Why? Because those incredible human beings are doing incredible things and achieving incredible things. You want to be part of a group like that. You want if you're an entrepreneur with a history of success and your ego will fit in a room, you'll qualify. But you want to lift yourself up. You want to be surrounded by a bunch of cheerleaders that are celebrating you. Reach out to Jose, theentrepreneursbookshelf.com. Reach out to him. Don't forget, we're going to take a quick break here, but don't forget to pause and breathe. It's important to pause and breathe. Center yourself, ground yourself, pause and breathe. As we go to break, you're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. Don't go anywhere. See you in a minute.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville on Inspired Choices Network. And today we're talking about emotional intelligence execute. Actually have to do, which will be an outcropping extension of who we're being if it's being done right. A lot of us do without having it being in alignment with who we're being, and it frustrates us and exhausts us and we're angry. So being able to have that alignment is key. So in this one, in terms of execute, we talked about doing a quick SWOT, and it doesn't have to be quick. It could be an in-depth SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We talked about why we'd increase our emotional intelligence. What are the benefits of that to us? Being more positive, being responsible, higher productivity, being able to let things go and not harbor stuff, being able to self-encourage ourselves to get past challenges and whatnot. We want to talk just real quick. What are some practical steps? So again, people used to say to me, when I was in the retail automotive sector, they used to say, hey, the managers would say, go make calls. I know that's important. And I'm like, okay, what do I say? To be effective, what do I say? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, that's not helpful. So what do I have to do? I can admonish you, hey, increase your emotional intelligence. You can do the SWOT, you can do all these different things, but What are practical steps? Some practical steps to increase our emotional intelligence. I'm going to run through these really quick, but write them down for yourself because these are important. Identify what you're truly feeling. That's an awareness, right? That's an awareness. And this may sound woo-woo to some people. They may, oh, Gordon, that's a little bit woo-woo. That's great. It doesn't change what is. It doesn't change that we need to be aware. It doesn't change that in varying degrees, we need to make sure we're doing these things and to help us move along. So identify what you're truly feeling. That's an awareness of where you're at. 2 is acknowledge and appreciate your emotions. It's not, and I've alluded to that a couple of times, where it's not, hey, I'm angry, I'm going to be happy anyway. But that doesn't make any sense, right? That's disingenuous. You don't want to do that. But I want to acknowledge the emotion that's there. I want to acknowledge that anger, that frustration, that whatever it is, I want to acknowledge it's there, appreciate that it's there, because it's there for a reason. All of our emotions are there for a reason. So it's not a bad thing. It's just being able to control them, master control of our emotional intelligence. So acknowledge and appreciate your emotions. The 3 is develop a deep belief in yourself. And I do that through Papa, myself personally. However you do that, develop a deep belief in you. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Absolutely, you're capable to do. So develop a deep belief in yourself. And like I say, I do that through Papa. Papa believes in me. I hold on to that. I know he never, ever, ever, ever disappointed. He already knew what I was going to do. So he never goes, oh, that I didn't see that coming. That never comes out of his mouth. He never even thinks it because he already knows. So develop a deep belief in yourself. 4 is embrace self-awareness. Own your shit. Own what your own stuff is about. Be self-aware. And be honest with yourself about it. Transparent and vulnerable, at least with yourself. Be honest with yourself about where you're at. Don't make it worse than it is. And you've heard me say that before. Don't make it worse than it is, but certainly be honest about what it is and where it is. Embrace self-awareness. 5, learn emotional management techniques. You need to know that or need to work on that. You need to figure some of those things out. Reach out to me. It's part of a custom class I can do, group or one-on-one. I can teach that. So, and I'm not the only one. There's lots of people that can do that. But if you're with me, I would submit to you that we must connect on some level, or you wouldn't be sitting listening to me. So I can help with that. So learn some emotional management techniques, tools and strategies to be able to do and deal with the things you're wanting to deal with every day, and the emotions of what we're talking about. 6, attune to others' feelings. Don't be house. Don't walk through life just sort of obliterating. It doesn't matter. I don't care what anybody else is feeling. I don't care where anybody else is emotionally. It doesn't matter. Not my deal. I don't care. And then you just bull in a china shop, go through. Don't do that. Absolutely don't do that. Attune yourself. And the higher your emotional intelligence goes, the easier that is, because you'll feel that. It'll be right there. It'll be in your face over and over and over and over and over. You'll know exactly, instantly you'll know how to respond. You'll know, hey, I got to read the room a little bit. I got to understand what's going on around me. Part of that's awareness to the surrounding, right? Attune to others' feelings. Pay attention to what people around you are feeling. It's important. You wonder why you can't get a presentation across to the people in front of you? If you're not attuned to what they're thinking, if you're in sales and you can't get the sale done, you're missing something. The person with the most confidence in the space, the person with the deepest integrity about, you know what, you need this product, or no, I don't need your product, whichever one is convinced more is the one that's going to win. But you have to attune yourself. People used to look at each other in the car business, would be standing or sitting, presenting to a husband and wife, the numbers and whatnot. And they would be they wouldn't say anything, but they're looking back and forth with each other. And they're looking at the page and they're looking back and forth with each other. And I would just say, just tell me you don't have the down payment. Just tell me that's a little more than you want to spend. Just tell me. And they're like, how do you know that? Well, I have an emotional intelligence. Now, I wouldn't say that way to them, but that's what's happening. I'm reading what's going on. I've been married for a long time. I get it. They're talking without talking, right? We all do that. There's certain people that you connect with and you just know this is what they're thinking. This is what they are. This is what's going on in their mind. But if I'm not attuned to that, if I'm not attuned to what their feelings are, if I don't have emotional intelligence that will allow me to look at it and go, hey, this is what they're feeling. Just by looking at them, you can tell. But if I can't do that, it's a problem. So attune yourself to other people's feelings. And then 7, assert yourself. Audacity of doing. Confidently assert yourself. It's not that you're belligerently stepping out. It's not that you're bullying somebody, because that's wrong. Asserting yourself beyond what's normal, that's bullying. You don't want to do that. But asserting yourself confidently that, you know what, I understand what's going on. I'm sympathizing with you. I'm empathizing with you. If you understand and have experienced that and know what that feels like, then there's empathy. But assert yourself. Confidently step into the situation. 8 is get excited and take action. Be excited is positive, is that abundance thought process, but taking action, again, actually executing, right? The topic today, execute on your emotional intelligence all over the place. Execute to increase it, execute to grow it, execute to know where it's at, and execute to be able to implement that with other people. Lots of ways to execute this concept. But there's 8 very quick that could be very deep. Depending on how long you spend with each of those things, that can be very, very deep. Identify what you're truly feeling. That's just awareness. Acknowledging and appreciating your emotions. Develop a deep belief in yourself. Embrace self-awareness. Learn emotional and management techniques. Attune to others' feelings so that you know what's going on. Assert yourself. Get excited and take action. There's some things all in a roundup that and again, if that sounds woo-woo, well, it doesn't change what is. You need some of that at some level. We have to be able to do those things. If you want more emotional intelligence, you have to be able to do those things. Practical steps to improvement of our emotional intelligence. We're going to talk in the last segment about streamlining that a little bit, and we've got an amazing call to action. But before we go to break, we've got to take another break. Wow, time just goes. We have so much fun. I enjoy this so much, and the time just goes. But I want to touch real quick. I'm a high performance coach, mentor, and I do group coach. I do one-on-one coaching. I can help with accountability. I can help with, those are all customized programs. I've spent 30 years doing personal development. I read 5 to 7 books a month. I journal every day. I'm certified with Robbins Madonis, is Tony Robbins, and his theologies in a half a dozen disciplines. I'm certified to teach Napoleon Hill, and I'm certified NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and I've got some extensive background in coaching and mentoring and teaching. And if these topics and these ideas resonate with you in any way, and you go, you know what, I need to get more, I need customized. And if you don't have a coach or a mentor, you need to. If you really want intentional growth, you need to have a mentor or coach, because we're going to see things in you that you don't see in yourself. And it's not us telling you what to do. It's leading you to find the answers in yourself. That's what a good coach is about. So I do that, and I customize the program. And the reason I say customize is because it's different for everybody. What works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. So we customize a plan. I also do keynote speaking. So I've got 9 or 10 this year, I think. Public speaking, keynote speaking engagements. I'll talk to your school, to your church, to your men's group, to whoever. I'll share some of these truths with them. If you just reach out to me, you can reach me at thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Again, thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Reach out to me and ask for more information. Connect with me. I want that engagement to be able to get to my mission of meaningful connection with 10 million men globally. I need engagement. I need people that are dialed into the information. And I know there's a lot of people hurting right now. There's a lot of people that need it and want it very badly. So like this, love this, share this, invite people, subscribe, and then share it all over the place. Connect with me, reach out. If you have questions or comments, concerns, you want to challenge me on something, please reach out. I'm all over that. I'm all over that. I've got thick skin. I'm not here to be right. I'm not here to be right. I'm here to challenge you to be better. I want you to be better. And if I plant some kind of a seed that allows and germinates and grows in you and helps you be better, awesome. That's where my heart is. That's what I want to have happen. So please reach out. If this and you know what, I've got sponsorship opportunities available. I had 2 come up this week, openings come up. If you want this message to get out to other men, you want this to go out to, you're a lady who's a mom or a sister or a wife, and you want somebody, men in your life, you want them to hear this and you want to help, please reach out. There's some really, really good sponsorship stuff available. So please reach out, help me get the message out. Again, the same place, thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com, and ask, hey, how can I help move this forward? Would love to have you. I appreciate my founding sponsors so much, my partner sponsors so much. So anyway, I got to take a quick break. Don't forget to pause and breathe. I'll underline it on my shirt so I remember to do it. Pause and breathe, Gord. As we go to break, don't go anywhere. We got a quick thing at the end, a streamlined piece at the end, and then a quick call to action. Don't go anywhere. It's a long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. Thank you for being here. Be right back.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is the Long-Bearded Guy with Gordon D Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Gordon D Melville, Long-Bearded Guy on Inspired Choices Network. Today, emotional intelligence. This is a multi-part series, and this week we're talking about executing, being able to take what we know and executing. How do I expand what I know? How do I expand and grow, intentionally grow my emotional intelligence? I want to know how to do that. We need to know how to do that, but then we have to actually execute. It's not a matter of just being an information and knowledge addict. It's not about getting all the knowledge. The knowledge doesn't mean anything if you don't use it. As a matter of fact, having the knowledge and not using it is tragic, because you're put yourself in the same position as somebody that didn't know or doesn't know, isn't aware, right? As someone that can't read and somebody that doesn't read are on the same level, tragically on the same level. And there's no, I'm just saying that we need to be able to get the information, but then use the information, make it affect your life, have it implemented, execute on what you know. So I wanted to just real quick, as we close up here today, I wanted to just a call to action, but I want you to streamline piece. So if you're looking at me going, Gord, it was great to have all those 8 different things that I could probably, is there someplace I can start quick? Is there something I can do that just gets me going, gets the ball rolling, dips my toe in it, gets me sort of moving in a direction, in a positive direction? 3 quick places to begin to increase and to execute on your emotional intelligence. One is to recognize and name your emotions so that you know what they are. You can see them, you know what they are. As they happen, you know that, hey, that's fear. Hey, that's frustration. Hey, that's anger. Hey, that's whatever it is. Recognize them and name them is a good place to start. Ask for feedback. And we talked about that on last week's show. Whether you're doing your own or you're asking somebody else to evaluate for you. And it's not that their opinion is only part of the deal, right? You take that and go, okay, so this is how I'm showing up. But asking for feedback, ask people around you for how you show up in their lives. Ask them for feedback. That's something you can do easily. You can do it this afternoon, do it today. And then reading literature and books on the topic. Read as much as you can about emotional intelligence and read lots of different articles because there's lots of different views on it all. So don't take any one person's view of it. Read through it, find what works for you, what resonates with you, and adopt that and use that. Execute on that. But that's 3 quick things. Recognize and name your emotions, ask for feedback, and read as much as you can. Find books. And I had talked about, emotional intelligence, 2 different versions of it. Daniel Goleman and James Ryan, one of my buddies, Ryan James is the author of that. Deepak Chopra wrote a book called MetaHuman. Incredible stuff in there. Let It Go by Dave Rahman is a great book. How to Own Your Own Mind. Napoleon Hill. You want to go back to the foundation of it. How to Know Your Own Mind is Napoleon Hill. Incredible book. Thought leaders that can take you to the next level and educate and expand your awareness. Once it's expanded, it cannot go back. That's what they say. Once the mind is expanded, it can't go back. So being able to go, you know what, I want to expand it. The call to action this week is to complete your own SWOT and journal 3 ways you'll commit to increasing your own emotional intelligence this week. Call to action, complete your own SWOT. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And then journal 3 ways you'll commit to increasing your own emotional intelligence this week. It's not just about knowing, it's about doing. It's not just about having the information and not doing anything with it. We have to execute. Boots on the ground, we actually have to do. There's no way things are going to work if we don't get off our butt and do. But we have to do intelligently. We need to do smart, not harder, smart. These types of things will help with that. These concepts will help with that. If you really want emotional intelligence and you want your relationships to be better and you want to be able to grow and expand, you want to be a better leader, these are things that will help. Emotional intelligence will help all over our life. It'll help us be more responsible. It'll help us be optimistic, have that abundance mindset. It'll help us with our productivity. It'll help us with our self-encouragement. We want to have that. Next week, Friday, May 5th, same wonderful place, same time, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Emotional intelligence, it's part 7, is self-control. It's something that's a monster huge thing that lots of us, I really want to have those chips, the self-control, right? How does that work? How does that equate to emotional intelligence? How does self-control come into our emotional intelligence? We'll talk about that next week. Same place, same time. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you sticking with me. I appreciate you being here till the end. I appreciate you showing up for yourself to learn intentionally and grow intentionally and at least get the information. But then I implore you, do something with it. Don't just let the book sit on the shelf. We all have books in our libraries that we haven't read. It was good intention, but we didn't do anything with it. The road to hell paved with good intention. It's not the good intention that's the problem. It's we didn't do anything with that intention. We have to actually do. We have to execute. Execute this week. Make it another great week. You have the power to do that. We have the power to do that. Make it another great week. Make it what you want it to be. I love you. Massive hugs. Would love to be able to do that in person, but love you. Hugs. Live abundantly this week and with intention. Don't just let it happen. With intention, live abundantly. And I'll see you next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning into the Long Bearded Guy Show. You are appreciated and loved. Gordon D Melville returns Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on the InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, make it another great week, leading with love, powerfully designing, crafting, and living out your positively impactful legacy life you were created for. Big hugs!